Welcome to NDNU's podcast, where we bring higher education to life through conversations that matter. Tune in as we unpack current trends, explore big ideas, and spotlight voices from across the Notre Dame de Namur University community.
Today, we are diving into a really fascinating shift happening in leadership right now. Specifically, how the role of marketing and communication leaders it's fundamentally changing. They're facing totally new technology and obviously shifting expectations from their audiences.
Exactly. And to guide this conversation, we are looking at a great article titled, Why Marketing and Communication Leaders Must Become Hybrid Thinkers. It was written by Kurt Allen, the Vice President of Enrollment, Marketing, and Communications right here at Notre Dame de Namur University.
Right, and Kurt really sets the stage by pointing out how communications functions have evolved over the years. They used to be these campaign execution centers, just focused on getting the collateral out the door. But now, they are acting as strategic nerve centers for the entire institution.
And that really brings us to the core concept of his article, the hybrid thinker. Kurt explains that modern leaders need to be completely fluent in two distinct areas. On one hand, you have systems. So that is your analytics, your dashboards, your operational infrastructure. And on the other hand, you have story, the narrative, the brand voice, the human connection.
Yeah, and it's not just a buzzword. Kurt mentions three specific forces driving this need for hybrid thinking. First is technology acceleration. Second is shifting consumer expectations. And the third is strategic brand evolution. So it is no longer enough to just buy a new tool or adopt a new platform. Leaders actually have to integrate that systems thinking with genuine storytelling.
It is a true balancing act. And Kurt breaks this down into some really practical trends. Let's start with the first one he identifies, which is first-party data.
This is a huge one. Because of all the new privacy regulations, third-party identifiers, tracking cookies, are rapidly losing their value. So collecting data directly from your audience with their explicit consent is now central to everything. But what Kurt points out is that this isn't just an IT or systems issue. It is about building trust. People only give you their data if they trust your story.
That is such a crucial point. It is the story that actually earns the data. Moving to his second trend, we have conversational search.
Right. So search is moving away from just typing in disjointed keywords. Thanks to generative AI and voice assistants, people are asking full conversational questions. And brands have to adapt by creating educational, question-based content. You can't just try to rank for a single term anymore. You actually have to provide a helpful human answer.
Which really favors the hybrid thinker. You need the technical system to format the data for the AI, but the story actually has to be genuinely helpful. And that ties perfectly into the evolution of content formats. Kurt talks a lot about the shift toward video and immersive content.
He cites some interesting HubSpot research here, too. It shows that short-form video, long-form video, and live streaming are currently the top drivers of ROI. But there is a really vital distinction Kurt makes about this type of content.
The polish versus utility concept, right?
Exactly. Audiences today actually prefer authentic, helpful content over highly polished commercial-style videos. A raw product demo or a simple behind-the-scenes look from a smartphone is often so much more effective because it offers real utility. It doesn't need to be a cinematic masterpiece to work.
It just has to be real. And that brings us to the more human side of this hybrid model. Kurt discusses cultural fluency, which is incredibly important right now.
From his experience at NDNU, Kurt highlights that authenticity matters far more than perfection. Having diverse creators and inclusive teams is what actually builds trust with modern audiences. He notes that if your content is disconnected from the actual lived experience of your community, they will just dismiss it immediately.
Because trust really is a currency now. We're living in this era of deep fakes and AI-generated everything. Accuracy, along with genuine two-way engagement, is absolutely vital for protecting a brand's credibility.
Which leads right into the resurgence of narrative. As AI floods the internet with more generic, automated content, having a distinct human story, one that is rooted in real emotion, that is how you stand out. The system distributes the message, but the narrative is what makes people care.
I love how he frames that. And this doesn't just apply externally either. One of the trends that really stood out to me was how internal communications shape external reputation.
Yes, Kurt cites a Gallup statistic that is just fascinating. Strong employee engagement can lead to 10% higher customer loyalty. It proves that employees really are your most influential brand ambassadors. If they are aligned and they actually believe in the story, that naturally translates to the customer or the prospective student.
So how does this look in practice? Kurt shares a bit about his personal experience applying this at NDNU. He essentially shifted his team's entire approach from simple campaign reporting to what he calls institutional intelligence.
Which is a brilliant term. It means they aren't just looking at open rates on emails. They are building shared dashboards that connect marketing performance directly with enrollment trends, financial aid modeling, and even student behavior.
It is the ultimate hybrid thinking. By blending those data systems with the human story of the student journey, marketing isn't just promoting existing programs anymore. That data actually allows marketing to shape high-level institutional strategy, like pricing and growth planning.
It really elevates the whole department. So to summarize the main takeaway here, marketing leaders today absolutely must move seamlessly between analytics and narrative. You can't just be a numbers person, and you can't just be a storyteller.
Right. And to reiterate Kurt's final point, technology like AI should be used to accelerate clarity and increase mission impact. It should never be used to replace the human element or dilute the core mission of the institution.
Beautifully said. Thank you all for joining us on this exploration of modern leadership and the hybrid thinker.
Thanks for joining us on the Notre Dame de Namur University podcast, where higher education meets real-world insight. If you're ready to take the next step in your career, explore NDNU's Master of Business Administration program, designed for working professionals who want to lead with purpose and impact. Learn more at ndnu.edu or give us a call at 650-508-3600. Classes are enrolling now. See you next time.